Wednesday night. For the past 15 years, I've done a variety program on Channel 98. Yes, they do go up that high. Let's see, I've sung, danced, I've interviewed everyone from the mayor's nephew to the world's most inaccurate weatherman. We've had cooking segments on it. I can't say that I have. I don't even know what a curly fry is. How novel. And yet it retains the taste and freshness of, I don't know what to call it, your old-fashioned dangling fry? I understand you're busy. Well, it's been 3 months since I applied for your management position. I am qualified. Listen, I once navigated the live camel through a cramped cable access studio, and it didn't spit, it didn't even bump a camera. Just imagine what I could do with the acne-ridden juveniles that man your hot dog stand. Hello? Hello? Yes, Bob. Whitmore Lake here. I believe we're cut off. Well, it pains me to say it, but you don't even have the manners of a camel. At least they don't hang up on people. Well, no, I haven't actually spoken to one on the phone. But you have. And it did hang up on you. Careful, Bob. That sounds like the hurting kind of laughter.
So, you didn't want that job anyway. And besides, Carole Monroe is coming over today so you can pitch your show idea to her.
My God. Is that today?
She's due any minute.
Carole Monroe. Once she was my intern getting me coffee. Now, she's a big shot producer, and good heavens, we're out of coffee. Tell me, Leonard, how did she get where she is while I remain here in the bush leagues?
Well, she went to college.
Please. You know my disdain for that institution. An entertainer entertains. He doesn't learn. I never should have agreed to this meeting. Tell me, how do you convince her to do it?
Truth or lie?
Lie.
She called me.
She did?
Of course not.
You and your mind games. By the way, did I tell you I switched your underwear at the laundromat?
You did what?
Yes, a homeless gentleman with roughly your build came in while I was doing our laundry. And since I needed the change for the machines, I traded him your underwear. That he wore your brand was just a happy coincidence.
Was this before or after you did the wash?
I don't remember.
Jesus! My balls itch. You're putting me on, yes?
Never mind that. I've got to find my A-list material.
This must have been during my monogramming period. There'd been a rash of laundry thefts in the neighborhood, and my initials aren't BVM.
This folder of various sketch ideas that were too good for Channel 98. Inspired bits that I would one day use for my big audition. Ah, yes, ideas like Elvis the Vampire, Van Helsing. Yes, he was the king of the vampires. Bartender. That show beats the king of beers. Van Helsing. If you mean Ed McMahon, he too is a vampire. I've got 2 copies of most of this, so you'll be reading with me.
All right, but I won't be wearing any underwear, which could be distracting.
I doubt she'll notice.
I meant for me.
Carole Monroe, how have you been these past 6 years?
Fine, and you?
I'm so good, my doctor says I could donate an organ and not feel a thing, which Leonard here Would really appreciate it because my organ playing keeps him awake at nights. Anyway, you're busy, so let's head right in the living room and get down to business.
Now, I am kind of busy. Well, can I get you something? There was a drink that you used to like a lot. Well, we don't have it, but if you'd like...
All right, then, the light's dim. The theme from Rocky plays in the background. I come running out. Boxer's silk robe, shorts, ruby red gloves on my hands. I take a few punches at the camera. I step to the microphone. Mike Tyson would have been here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but I just kicked his ass. You'll be reading about me in the paper tomorrow. My name is Whitmore Lake, but you can call me the newest world heavyweight champion. But seriously, welcome to the show. We're going to have something for everyone tonight. So if you're young, put down that skateboard. And if you're old, don't trip over that skateboard. We'll be right back. Okay, then we do a fake commercial. You know the kind. A car ad. They're driving along a wet country road with some celebrity's voice, giving you mileage, giving you performance features. Except, we scale the car down. We do a parody where we have a miniature car with a baby driving. The voiceover will be like goo 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 with a subtitle translation across the bottom of the screen, and all of a sudden, to show the anti-lock brakes, the baby brakes for an adult who's running to the road. Well, anyway, Leonard will help me read the next sketch. It's just after World War III. Smoke billows over the stage as two scar-faced mutants walk into a cafe.
Which one am I?
Mutant number 1.
Okay. Where am I from?
That hardly matters, Leonard, seeing as the world has been destroyed.
True, but I'm still from someplace. Those experiences formed me.
I forget your fidelity to the method.
Can we just get on with it, please?
Very well. Rudeness is good. It motivates. Thanks, Carole.
And what about their names? I mean, mutant number 1 is hardly something to hang an identity on, too.
You're a fucking mutant. Do you honestly think it would matter what your name was or where you were from?
Well, it might, depending on which portion of my brain remained intact after the horrible nightmare that was World War III had forever altered my entire being. I mean, can you even imagine that kind of pain?
I might be able to. I'm mutant number 2, you remember?
So, these two mutants were friends before the war when they were human?
Yes, I suppose they were.
Well, then what were their names?
Will you answer that? Giving me a hand, eh? Like to the A material? I apologize. Leonard hasn't been the same since the accident.
Accident?
Well, technically it hasn't happened yet, but it will.
Oh, I see. This is one of your little jokes.
My joke is anything but little.
Talking about me? It's for you.
Hello? Oh, yes, it's good to hear from you. I'm not interested. What? You'll send me a check? For how much?
With the phone company, they want him to switch long-distance carriers, but he's very loyal.
So, Leonard, how are you?
Good.
This is a nice place. Perhaps we could open the shades.
No. Whitmore has this theory that sunlight prematurely ages the flesh. I think he's very youthful looking, so who knows? But I'm glad to hear that you like the apartment. I decorated it myself. Everything in it is mine. The shelves, the CDs, the books. I'm such a back rat.
Whitmore must be very generous letting you keep all of your things here.
Oh, you think so? Well, actually, it is my apartment, so I don't know where else I'd put them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Whitmore lived here.
Oh, he does, but his things were lost in the fire, and I know if he'd gotten the money from that insurance company, well, everything would be... Oh, I'm not too comfortable with this topic. Say, remember how I had a crush on you 6 years ago?
No.
Oh my, yes. I wrote poetry and drew your face. Well, whenever I wasn't masturbating.
Now I'm not comfortable with the topic.
Say, I was looking for one of those poems earlier today.
That's okay. You don't have to look for it.
I know, because it's right here. It's called Carole, God Has a Plan. Carole, God has a plan. I will marry you, and you will bear what I hope will be normal-looking children. With you, we have half a chance. When I was a boy, my feet swelled with encephalitis. No secrets. No secrets. No secrets. It's not a rhyming poem. I know you weren't waiting for the rhymes, because then you wouldn't really have been listening. I can read it again now that you know it's not going to rhyme.
It's okay.
So, make sure you send the check first, and then we'll talk. You know, Carole, a promise in this business is like apologizing for a fart. It's all well and good, but the smell lingers.
I noticed that you had a backyard. I'd like to use it to make a phone call on my cellular.
Downstairs and to the left.
Thank you.
Well, that went well.
You know, Leonard, I think it was a mistake for you to go off the medication, but we can talk about that later. Right now, it's time for Plan B.
Plan B?
Yes, when she was my intern, she had a terrible crush on me.
She did?
Oh, dear Leonard, it was obvious. The way she'd spill my coffee, trip over camera cables when I was in the studio.
Oh, she was nearsighted. You remember? We pooled our money together and we bought her some glasses before she left. A going-away present.
If that's true, then why isn't she wearing them,
You got a point there.
Memory's a pernicious thing. Anyway, I never allowed her girlish infatuation to reach fruition. And you know what they say about love postponed.
No. What?
When you're older, dear boy. Right now, I need you to douse me with cooking sherry. It drives them wild.
Oh, we don't have any. How about some vanilla extract?
That's for children. What else do we have?
Soy sauce?
What brand?
Kikkoman.
Very well.
With all due respect, Josh, if you'd wanted to kill yourself, you wouldn't have called the 900 line after you took the pills. Well, be sure to get my name right on the suicide note. You know how your love letter misspellings always embarrassed me. Oh, hello, Whit.
Please, it's Whitmore. When people call me Whit, I think of the phrase, I don't give a whit.
Well, I don't give a whit. Your ideas suck. You know, if there's one thing that's worse than a has-been, it's a never was. You're the type of self-deluded would-be celebrity that teenagers love to prank call on weekends.
So that was you?
I have to go.
Some ass needs kissing?
Ciao, Whit.
that's our show for tonight. I'd like to thank orthodontist Hamilton Burke. His courage to interject sexuality and race into his public views by saying people should keep their teeth like him.
Straight and white. Well, it's refreshing. In a profession filled with cowards and quacks, Dr. Burke stands out like a cavity. I'd also like to thank Renee Weatherwax, who's taught me to channel my anger
into the creation of clay ashtrays. And although I don't allow smoking in my home, I'll proudly display them as works of art and not the repository for the remnants of someone's filthy addiction. Speaking of home, I'd like to get a little personal tonight.
I'm calling my assistant Leonard. Leonard, who's refused the entrance into what had become our apartment. And to that end, I'd like to thank Rusty Mangren here at Channel 98 for the use of his jacket in office. Leonard doesn't appear to be answering, but I know he's watching, so I'll just speak to him through the camera. Hello, Leonard. Remember that time we went to the state prison for a live remote? And a prisoner, I believe his name was PB, grabbed you in the yard and
Savagely beat you? Luckily, a nearby guard grabbed him while another dragged you away. I guess in the confusion he thought you were an inmate.
you spent a regrettable day and a half in solitary confinement. Anyway, remember how you had to walk the 30 miles from the prison to town in a thunderstorm because you didn't have cab fare? And I wasn't answering my phone when you called. Forget about the fact that it wasn't technically solitary confinement because Pee-wee was in prison with you for the guard's amusement, and forget the terrible, uninsured month of pneumonia which followed, but do remember the way you felt when I would not answer my phone. Leonard, don't put me through that. You know, the other thing about that debacle was that it was good television. The scene of your being is still remembered by everyone who saw it, so answer the phone if only because you're too much of a professional not to. Leonard. Yeah. Okay, yeah, later, right.
Well, that is it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and here's hoping I'll see you around like a donut.